What's going on, YouTubers? It's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to All Elite Wrestling Review, the show from October 22nd, 2019. And this will be another episode of AEW Dark that took place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Your commentators were not good old JR Jim Ross, but it's Taz, who was a guest commentator for one night only on AEW Dark, alongside with um I already forget his name, Excalibur. So yeah, Taz and Excalibur were on commentary. And meanwhile, you got Tony Schiavone, at the control center for AEW Dark, as usual. And folks, maybe just say I apologize for these late reviews pertains to on my context of YouTube. Um, but I'm gonna get through as it goes by. You know, a lot's going on, but not gonna get into that much personal. And if you guys can't tell, is you can see nothing but total darkness, which is a nice theme for what pertains to AEW Dark. And it's not a coincidence or anything. I just don't want to be on camera for this one, but nothing wrong with me. Nothing um no nothing for you to be afraid of and everything. I just want to do something off camera for the time being. So I'm gonna try to go do this as quickly as I can. What pertains on AEW Dark, the edition from October 22nd, 2019. Taz on commentary was pretty good, and Excalibur was also good as well. But Taz, he was always in his elements as he always been. So the show opened up with Joey Janela versus Brandon Cutler. A good match. Brandon Cutler still trying to get get behind this guy. What he's about. Other than him being friends of the Young Bucks. Sorry about that, folks. I just dropped my tablet, uh, but yeah, basically, a match that I thought was pretty good, and two wrestlers that need a win in their record books, and unfortunately one not to lose. So one of them ended up being Brandon Cutler losing, and Joey Janela ends up winning the match. So Joey Janela finally wins a match in AEW. That part is gonna be his last. I'm just kidding, but we'll see though. We see the librarians coming out, Peter Avalon and uh, Lila Bate, Leva Bate, excuse me. Leva Bate's gonna have a match against the native beast, Nyla Rose. I'm trying to remember what Peter Avalon said what pertains to them being in Philly. Basically, insulting the teams and everything, and then Leva Bate basically went shh to him as she said, to the Philly people, she did it for she did that for all of them. So basically, she's a baby face in a way where she's a nice lady and everything, but at the same time she will do some heel tactics too, with pertains to matches. But other than that, she's basically a nice librarian. Meanwhile, you got Peter Avalon, who's a bad librarian and all that. But the gimmick itself, like, Leva Bates is better than this. I remember Leva Bates' persona, her personalities, where it pertains to her being in the indies, where she dressed up like anything that she wants to dress up like, and that was cool. Can we get that Leva Bates in AEW? Moving forward instead of her doing this whole librarian thing. Now, if you want to do the whole librarian thing, fine, do it. Do it with Peter Avalon. If that's gonna give him some heel heat, which it is working in a way, but at the same time, it's also go away heat too. But um, but you gotta give Leva Bates a better role than her being a librarian. But anyways, but she goes against Nyla Rose. Match itself, Nyla Rose. I don't know what's going on with Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose look like she's not in her zone for some whatever reason. It's not. I'm not saying she's terrible in the ring. It's just that she doesn't look like she's has her best days in the ring anymore. I don't know why. Why is that? But hopefully she gets better as it goes by. but she doesn't win the match anyways. Because obviously they got have not Rose lose to leave a bait. With this whole librarian gimmick thing. So even though with Peter Avalon getting involved, still didn't matter because Nyla Rose has to win. She had pretty much got to win. Then we get to another undesirable to undeniable interview with Cody Rhodes. This time he interviews QT Marshall, and that's about him being a producer, what pertains to him being in Ring of Honor and all that, and also wrestling Ring of Honor and being a trainer for Ring of Honor at one point. And his thing about he's married, he's all about the business and everything. And he's good friends with Cody Rhodes. Ever since Cody Rhodes went to Ring Ring of Honor. And they worked out a good relationship ever since then. And here he is right now. QT Marshall being part of AEW, not just being a producer, but also being a wrestler and a trainer. Basically doing like the same position that he was in when he was in Ring of Honor. And it was a cool moment that Cody Rhodes was talking to him and all that. And on top of that, his gimmick too, in a way, is that he eats an apple. He always bites an apple, like kind of like how Carlito does in WWE. But yeah, I thought it was a good interview though. A pretty good interview where you get to learn about QT Marshall. So far, Cody Rhodes when it comes to from undesirable to undeniable interviews, he's done with Aubrey Edwards. And again, I get confused sometimes. Is I guess sometimes I get the names confused with pertains to Aubrey and Audrey. I think it's I'm assuming it's Aubrey, but don't quote me on that. But the first female referee for AEW being interviewed by Cody Rhodes, and then you got QT Marshall being the one interviewed next. And we'll get to more of who was the interview when we get to the other episode of AEW Dark. They did a segment where Scorpio Sky was talking about being the one in the match against the best friends after what happened with Christopher Daniels, last minute thing and all that, where it pertains to the whole Lucha Brothers attacking the SCU before the match and everything, even though it was a match that the Lucha Brothers was not really involved in. But they did it on this show where they did a recap of it, pertains to Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. Despite all that, they ended up overcoming the odds by being best friends. So Pac was being was basically killing a promo while he's all bloody and everything. It was because the whole bar wire thing that he threw out the ring and all that. It was it was a mess for him and all that. But hey, he still cut a good promo. And the show recap of it on the show. So that was good. I thought that was a good hand there. And finally, the main event. The main event features the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Natural Dustin Rose, or aka Blood Dust. Just kidding. And the American Nightmare, Cody, versus the Private Party, which is Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, teaming up with Strong Hearts and Sema, and then I can't remember the other guy's name. It should be here. It should say here. Oh yeah, T-Hawk. So this match is being pretty good. And there was a lot of good entertainment spectacle in this match too as well. Where I thought it was a pretty good match, and it had some some comedy skits in the match as well. I thought it was hilarious. In the end, it was Dustin, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks going over. And again, a very good main event match. And the Toma Wrestling on this show here was 3 matches. Now, I'm trying to remember if there was another match that happened on the show here. I could have swore there was another match that happened on the show. Unless it was the one that I already covered from the last AEW Dark episode. Because as I'm going through here, it's 3 matches here so far from the edition of October 22nd, 2019 for AEW Dark. But my overall strength for the show, I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10. or basically a 6.5 out of 10. I'll go with that instead. But with that being said, folks, thank you for watching. For It's Natural Born Thriller, saying peace on the streets. For this was your All Elite Wrestling review, where it pertains to giving you the results of AEW Dark from October 22nd, 2019. Until next time, take care, folks.